Hello and welcome back to Hollowponds Solo Sagas and our 13th episode of Daggerheart. Yes, we are playing Daggerheart Solo. Is anyone else playing Daggerheart Solo? I'm not too sure. I seem to play all of the games that other people don't play solo. So yes, Daggerheart. I'm using the two books that I wrote. Let's push my stuff. See if we can support the channel a bit. We have Solo in Sablewood. And we have the Heart Guide. I haven't done anything on the Heart Guide over the last week because we had packs and various other things, and we're doing the final move to. I'll do it for the members. I'll show a video of what's left of the apartment because they have a video for the early doors where I showed how I record here in Sydney, which I'll be doing. This is probably my last recording in Sydney. Next recording, I may do some more. The final 2 days before we go, but otherwise this is it, and the next lot will be in Belgium. And so yes, purchasing these from Drive Thru RPG will help support the channel, as if you wish to purchase the adversaries book, construct enemies. I'm also going to do some social ones because this session I haven't created a social adversary for us to challenge at this session, but we have a list of things that we were going to have Fern do. So there are a few things that need to happen over this session and the next couple of sessions. We need to fix that pillar that got broken, so we need to work out a way of getting probably the Whitefire Arcanist to the pillar in Hush, to fix that magical pillar to defend Hush. We have this mage that we want to question. This is what we'll do this session, social challenge. And we also then, from the information from the mage, we can create who the big bad is who has been sending the constructs to defeat things within the Sablewood, and is a challenge against the Sablewood. And I also have a note saying armor D6 on a D6. So I didn't, with the armor point that got used, I didn't roll the D6 because we have the resilient. Roll a D6 on a 6 reduces threshold with no slot use. If I roll a 6, we get a slot back. Oh, hey! So we get that slot back. Cool. So what I was thinking was, we don't really have, Fern doesn't really have the skill set to question the mage. Doesn't really have the skill set to question the mage, and so what I thought is that a bard may be better positioned. We also, that particularly when we had that last skill challenge that we basically tried to do on the fly with the guards at the Hollow, we saw that Fern really isn't equipped for that sort of stuff. So we have a sort of a hole in our solo play cadre, which is those social things. So one who would be a bard. So I thought, why don't I make a bard? I've only really done the ranger, and we've explored the ranger, the beast master ranger. So we have Fern and Wolf, but we haven't really explored other characters. We played a fighter in the starter adventure. I can't remember his name. That fighter, a human fighter. And so what I have created is I have generated a Slyborn. It is human because it seemed to be the best to fit with a social type character. A Slyborn human bard that is a wordsmith, so a poet or an actor, a lovey darling. So we have created a bard, darling. My name is Mendex, and I am a bard. I saw you bring the wizard in from outside, and I thought to myself, I'm new to town, I've been exploring the Sablewoods, and darling, I thought I could help you. How about that? How about I lend my abilities with words and discussions and ability to get the truth out of people to assist you in questioning this mage? And Fern would be looking a little bit offish because Fern doesn't necessarily deal with people. I've been reading more of Murderbot, and I think I'm portraying Fern a bit like Murderbot's social abilities. So Fern goes, I think so. Whitefire Arcanist? That seems like it could be, I can't remember the voice I gave, a good idea. Why don't you come into this room and assist us? Mendex, you say? Ah, yes, darling, Mendex. That is my name, Mendex. I am a person of the word, a wordsmith extraordinaire. Let's sit this chap down and bring him round and ask him a few questions. So, what we will do is we will have a clock and we will have our wizard that we used, which I think was a spell sword, stress, and we will then do a social challenge as per the social challenges here. Now I would like rather to have used a dice clock, but we will use because I like the dice clocks as per. I wrote single player mode. I don't know if I've mentioned that in a while. So Cyberpunk Red, Artaelzorian. I wrote single player mode. I approached Artaelzorian. Artaelzorian offered to buy the book off me, and they bought my manuscript. And then I worked with Jay Gray to produce the single player mode book that you can get off of Drive Thru, and has been a #1 for quite a few weeks now. I am a #1 best-selling author on Drive Thru RPG. It's quite cool, isn't it? My name is Peter Norton. If you go to Drive Thru RPG and you look up single player mode, you'll see that the first author there is Peter Norton, and then there is Jay Gray and James Hewitt, who is the senior designer at Artaelzorian, and I have been told, hearsay, but said that when he read the manuscript, it read like that person really understood what solo play was all about. That's me, just blowing my own trumpet. And why not, eh? Why not, geezer? Blow your own trumpet, no one else is going to do it for you. So, we have a Spellblade. A Spellblade has a stress of 3. So we've got, our Spellblade has a stress of 3, and we have a difficulty of 14. The Spellblade has an attack of +3. Now, we will have a clock, so that's how many rounds that it will take to, and then I'll tell you about Mendex. That's how long it will take to something to happen. So we can have the big bad, who we did, you remember the fist went down? The big bad is scrying for this wizard, for this spell sword, and if the big bad can find the wizard in their scrying attempts, then they are going to remotely kill the spell sword, which means that we don't get any information out. We can say that we'll give, let's see, how much for the clock? What do we have as advice? I can't tell you this advice because I'm going to look at the PDF I purchased of the core rules, which I cannot use in this. We can only use the SRD in this as per the little piece that came up. How about we do it as a 4? So if he's got 3 stress, so if we make it a clock of 5, that means that they have 5 rolls attempts. So it's a skill challenge basically. A social challenge is a skill challenge, but you're trying to get the stamina, the stress rather, of the opponent down to 0, which will mean they'll then start to spill the beans and tell you what they want. Because when your stress is down to 0, you're technically vulnerable, which means that people have advantage against you. So if we were to do this as a clock, we would say that they have, like a skill challenge, you have 5 rolls total, you must get 3 successes, and you can have 2 failures, would be what it would be. So, and we will alternate between the Spellblade, who is going to attempt to do, they can't do their attacks, but like we had them that they could do their attack and they were attacking the pillar, we're going to have the Spellblade is going to be, when they can take focus. How much fear did we end with? Was it 4? 3. We have 3 fear. They can take focus and try and signal to the big bad where they are which will then bring the clock down. So we can basically make them attempt to do a move to bring the clock down. I'll put the fear over there, I think you can see it. This map, I'll say again, was Sean, who used to be one of the Adventurers Guild, but has dropped off the Adventurers Guild and hasn't said why. But yeah, that came from Sean, very kind. I don't know why he finished being the Adventurers Guild. I could do an Adventurers Guild now. So the Adventurers Guild supports, the names are up there, the Adventurers Guild supports the channel in its production by being a YouTube membership. A YouTube membership is a financial support. It is beyond buying the books, it is a constant way of supporting, basically it's a constant financial income that I can be assured of as part of producing these videos as a regular basis for you to watch. If you have any particular thing you wanted to watch, so Sean particularly liked Captain's Log, I will be doing Captain's Log again next year. But if you want a particular thing, it gives you an avenue to ask, Pete, could you do some more of this? And it's highly likely that I will then do it because you are financially supporting me. You know, it's like a bard. So we are going to have a 5 clock ticking over. We need to get the stress down, which is 3 successes on the stress. If 5 happen before then the spell sword will be killed and the big bad will know what's happening. Mendex, Slyborn Human Wordsmith. I use the standard stat distribution: 0 agility, -1 strength, +1 finesse, 0 instinct, +2 presence, +1 knowledge. So they are a poet and a playwright. Evasion 11, armor slots of 3, 5 and 11. Human, so they have +1 stress. Experiences: discover the lie. Being Slyborn, Mendex grew up around tricksters and mistruths, and is able to identify when someone's lying. This is social. And they can also, because they understand how to spot a lie, they're very good at telling a lie. And so they can cover their own personality and cover their own tells because they know what to look for in somebody else's tell. Standard armor, as described, carries a rapier and a small dagger, so can dual wield. Has a romance novel because they're trying to write. It's their special item is a romance novel, and it's one that Mendex is writing at the moment. So Mendex is attempting to write a romance novel and keeps getting stuck, and it's Mendex's life's work. And at the back they have jotted down their songs, or it would be their poems. And so the 2 abilities that we have taken from the domain cards, I considered taking the Codex domain, so basically giving Mendex a more magical abilities, but that didn't really seem to fit with what I thought Mendex was. So instead I went with Deft Deceiver and Enrapture. Deft Deceiver: spend a hope, gain advantage on a roll to deceive or trick someone into believing a lie you tell them. Or Enrapture: make a spellcast roll against a target within close range. On a success, they become temporarily enraptured. While enraptured, a target's attention is fixed on you, narrowing their field of view and drowning out the sound of everything but your voice. Once per rest on a success, you can mark a stress to force the enraptured target to mark a stress as well. So I'm guessing that means that everybody else would have advantage on the target. It doesn't say that, but if they're focused on you, then everybody else has advantage to them. And I think that would be it. So we open scene on the Whitefire Arcanist's room, which has been dropped down. We have the mage is bound in the corner. We have some of the hush guards in the room as well. We have Fern and Wolf by Fern's side. I think Wolf was injured, so they were going to have to do some resting. Wolf is injured, so strictly speaking, Wolf isn't present because Wolf is supposed to be away and off until the beginning of, after a long rest, Wolf would reappear. But we have Wolf here in spirit by Fern's side because basically Fern wouldn't rest until Wolf had returned. So rather than have that, we will narratively say that Wolf is present. But if something kicks off combat-wise, Wolf isn't to be seen because Wolf is hurt. So Wolf is a bit bedraggled and looking injured and just sticking by Fern's side. Fern is standing there. Does Fern have a sword? No, Fern has no secondary weapon. Yep, the Ranger doesn't have a secondary weapon. The Bard does, and Mendex steps forward. Hello, darling. You attacked Hush, didn't you? And why did you do that? I think we're quite curious. So, what's your name then? So, Mendex is going to attempt to kick off by doing Enrapture, which is a spellcast roll. The spellcast ability for a bard, I didn't grab. Hold on. Presence, which we have +2 on. So we have, what can we do? Relaxing song, epic song, make target temporarily vulnerable. Oh, okay, we could do that. We could open up with that. We could open up with attempting to make it vulnerable, but that isn't going to drop its stress by 1, and it's going to consume a roll. You can play 3 different times. Well, unless we get a second, but we can't do that. Well, we can. Heartbreak song, you and an ally's close range gain a hope. So we've started with 2 hope because a new person does start with 2 hope. Oh, that's all Troubadour. Wordsmith is presence. All right, we are going to try and talk to the Spellblade, capturing the Spellblade's attention and thus enrapturing the Spellblade and causing it to mark a stress by we mark a stress. We are going to try and convince of the truth, which would be, so this is make a spell roll, so which is burning a hope to give us +2. We have a presence of +2, which gives us a +4. And we can burn a hope to re-roll if we fail, because we're using convince the truth, which is a +2, and we've got Enrapture. It's got a target of 14. We get a 9 and a 6. We can attempt to re-roll, so we don't have a fear being rolled. But that would give us 9 and 6 is a 15, which is a definitely hit, which would definitely cause it to be focused on us. But we would get a fear, and it will flick over to the DM's move. So we will do. Shall we do that, or shall we burn an extra stress to re-roll, which we can do, but we might fail or just get the same thing. We'll keep it. So we burn 1 stress to cause it to burn stress, and we've got 1 successful check, and that is about that for that. So Enrapture, with all we can do with Enrapture this time, but it is focused on us. So if the Whitefire Arcanist or Fern attempt to talk to this Spellblade, it will fail. Now the Spellblade is going to attempt to call upon, so who would that be? Well, Mendex is the one who is questioning the Whitefire Arcanist, questioning Spellblade, but maybe, but it is in Rapture, so it can only talk to Mendex. So it's going to attempt to, so the Spellblade will go, "You can't deceive me. I know what's going on, and my master will help, and my master," well, he can't gesture because his hands are tied up. "My master will help. My master will see where I am. Master!" And it will scream out really loudly, calling for the master, which it's got +3. We will say that Mendex is going to be slightly taken aback, which will be an 11. So it needs to hit 11s. It hits 11s with fear, so we can burn again. But we can't because it's used. Oh no, we don't use that. We don't use that for them. Wrong, Pete. Pete got that wrong. No, you don't roll the hope dice for the opponents. You roll a d20, +3. Well, that still hits. So that's a 15. So that means that we have a cross go up, which means that we've got 3 left, and it screams out, which was that. We have nothing else that we can do, so it flicks back. We will have Fern will. What can Fern do? I think Fern's going to get physical. Fern is going to step in, and Fern is going to attempt to strike the Spellblade, but we are going to say that this is going to do so good, basically good cop, bad cop, and calls it stress because it's focused on Mendex. Now, because it's focused on Mendex, we do get an advantage. We will give Fern has 1 hope left, which Fern is going to burn that 1 hope to use Loyal and Debt because of Wolf being injured. But we are going to say that Fern is putting on a performance, so it isn't actually trying to strike the Spellblade physically, but it's more of a performance, which means that Fern needs to use Presence, which is a -1. So Fern is rolling at a +1 so far, attempting to hit a 14, but does get advantage because it's focused on Mendex. We've got a 9, so a fear again, a 14, a 20, a 21, which does, -1, no, we took the -1, which does actually succeed, giving us a tick. Oh man, but because we rolled with fear, we will get a fear, and I am going to spend 1 to give our dude a +2, giving it a +5, as the Spellblade is going to begin to mutter under its breath, summoning the powers of the arcane and attempting to again signal to the darkness that it is present and here. Oh, we really don't want this to work, which means that we will put that, let's give it a 12, which is Fern that we're targeting against. The Spellblade has to hit a 12 with +5, which means you only need to roll 9s to succeed in marking another one, which means we need 1 last success from Mendex to break the will of the Spellblade. I am inclined to sort of like, because that is a cocked dice, to do that and make it become a 6, which would mean a failure. So the Spellblade attempts to the Spellblade is attempting to summon, and we can see arcane symbols begin to form in the air as Mendex goes, "I'm sorry, I was talking to you, so if you'd stop muttering and mumbling, and what is your name?" Which breaks the Spellblade's concentration, and the Spellblade focuses on Mendex again. Now Mendex is going to, what can Mendex do? Mendex is going to, it's got a hope. Yeah, we can gain advantage on a roll to deceive or trick someone into believing a lie you tell them. Okay, if Mendex can succeed on this, we will just say that the Spellblade will believe that Mendex will say that, so, I mean, I keep asking your name, but we do know who you are and we know where you're coming from. And so, really, we're just asking to clarify this information. We don't want you to be, out of bounds with the people you work for and get into any trouble, but we know what's going on. And he's attempting to deceive, spend a hope to gain advantage. All right, so we will say this is a presence check in attempting to cause stress in the same way that, so we spend a hope, which is the last of Mendex's hope, which we can use to get advantage. We don't get to do convince the truth because we need to spend a hope to get that +2. So we have a +2 for our presence, plus a d6, attempting to hit a 14, otherwise we get a fail. Oh, that's awesome. So Mendex gets a hope. We get a 13 plus 2 is a 15, which is a success. So the I've still got my cold. I thought it'd go by now. It's been the end of the week. It's been a whole week of snuffling. At least I'm not that bad. But it's been a long day, so we might end sooner than later. So it's going to be a short session, but it's just like a short social challenge session and introducing a bard, Mendex. The spell blade will collapse forward and begin to spill the story of the big bad, which we will do next. So what shall the spell blades be? Kevin. Kevin Turvey. Do you know who Kevin Turvey is? Do you know Kevin Turvey? If you know Rick Mao, then you might know who Kevin Turvey is. The spell blade said, my name is Kevin, and I shall tell you what's going on as far as I understand it, but I do not know if it will be true. And so next session we will create a big bad. We'll use the pro forma, the little leaflet, which is the trifold of creating a big bad, and we will create a big bad card and work out who this person is next session. We'll do that just as the session creating the big bad, and then we can then aim to try in the last part of the arc of this season go after some element of the big bad and get some additional information about what's going on and see if we can work out what's happening, and we'll decide what sort of big bad it is and what they might be going on. We might use the thing that we mentioned from one of the books. I think it's in Solo in Sablewood, where we talk about a demon that is trying to free itself after the War of the Gods, the old War of the Forgotten Gods, and we might use that, but we'll decide next week using rolls, and we will generate a big bad for the story that we have at the moment happening in Sablewood, and hopefully that's okay. Very short session. Thank you so much for watching. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, subscribing does, of course, help the channel grow, as does hitting thumbs and doing comments. It all helps the channel grow and helps the presence of the Solo channel grow. I spoke to a few people at PAX at the weekend. There was Dana Fay, who was awesome. Really, I was impressed by the stuff Dana Fay said, and a few other people, and it was quite cool. Being noticed by people, but the bigger we can get, the more this pushes forwards, the more I can perpetuate this. I have until April of next year to attempt to make this a permanent thing, otherwise I'll have to dial it back and go get a proper job in Belgium. So anyway, thank you so much for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, do consider subscribing. If you're members of the Adventurers Guild, thank you so much for all your support, as I mentioned at the beginning. If you would like to join the Adventurers Guild, it supports the production of these channels and keeps things rolling, which is awesome. You can purchase any of the Daggerheart material that I have made. The Heart Guide is going to be released as a deluxe version using some of the information from single player mode. If you have already purchased it, when that comes out, you will be emailed a discount. That's about it, really. Thank you so much for watching. We shall return next week, where we will create the big bad for this part of the arc, this series, and discover what is actually going on in the Sablewood. See you then. Bye.